All right.
Let's not get ourselves in any trouble here, Nick.
All right.
Joe?
Fingers crossed. Hello. Welcome to Dictating Terms. I am Nick Milligan, and with me, as always, is a resident psychologist, Joe Duffy. Joe, how are you?
Good. We're back to me. Starting with me.
Yeah, we've got the order going correctly
Yeah,
now.
the world makes sense again.
And last but not least, the world-famous philosopher, Mitch Power. Mitch, how are you?
Thanks, Nick. Good, thank you. Joe?
Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
Mitch, how are you?
Happy Australia Day, fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here recording on the 26th of January, which is Australia Day still, for the time being. But before we launch into a bit of a talk about our National Day, we're going to talk a bit more about the Elton John concert. We touched on the last episode, I think it was, or episode before that as we'd hoped, Elton John did expose his penis to the audience at Hepper State, which was wonderful, and obviously we have the photography to prove it. But yeah, what did you guys actually think of the concert beyond that?
Great concert. Close to 3 hours. It was pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, big show.
Yeah, turned it on. Doesn't move around a whole lot like he
But he's stuck beyond his piano, isn't he, half the time?
he did. I watched the Rocket Man movie the day before, and he looked nothing like that.
He's sick, isn't he?
Well, he's an old man,
Yeah.
and he's done some things.
His hips
and-
are shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
His hips
well,
are gone.
Yeah. But his cock looked great. That's why he's the...
He still jumps up at the end of every song, though, doesn't he? Did he do the thing where he finishes a song?
Yeah,
Because I saw him
yeah.
last time he toured.
Yeah.
And he finishes a song, he stands up and is like, yes.
That was the
Yeah.
point. You're getting the finger out.
Yeah.
And then he got the dick out.
Yeah, then he pointed with his
Yeah,
penis.
You there with the Chardonnay. This one's for you.
Yeah, nice.
Good sir.
So played all the songs you wanted to hear.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant. I enjoyed the cinema, like the
The video.
screens.
Yeah, he had some
Two big
screen
massive
stuff
screens
going.
up either side, and as Rocket Man was playing, it's like all the stars come flooding out of the screen, and the rocket and the rocket sound. It was like a big act.
Red Rocket.
you know.
Yeah,
Red Rocket.
it was a
yeah.
production.
It was
I
a
thought
production.
It was
yeah.
a bit self-indulgent, I thought. But
Yeah, a couple of times. Yeah,
Mm. but I was there to see him, so he can do what he wants
yeah.
afterwards. Yeah, it was a good day.
Anything interesting happening during the show?
Well, you mean the cock or anything else?
Beyond the cock.
Yeah, well,
was the highlight,
it was a
obviously.
funny day. It's always a funny day when you go up there to the Hunter Valley. You get a good mix of people. You always do.
Yeah.
And I think it started when we went through the ticketing area. So ticket out,
Scanning.
yeah, ticket out, ID out, and then I, of all people, got randomly selected for a screening with the wand thing they do, where you step aside, spread, and they just sort of go you up and down, and then
Yeah.
I was all clear, and then the guy just walked off again. I think he might have muttered something. We're all clear here. Yep, all good.
So they picked you out, I assume, because
I
of
was
the beard.
randomly selected for a
Because you might be in ISIS.
Well, yeah, you never know when terrorism is going to strike, and Elton John certainly seems like a good place to do it.
He'd be at the top of their list, I think.
Yeah, and then we got to our seats, and there was a behind us in the row. There's a little bit of a commotion, but we weren't really paying attention. And then these 3 security guards just appeared out of nowhere, and they're kind of looking in our direction, but they're sort of talking amongst themselves. And then they're like, "We've got a situation here. Got a situation." And I was like, "It's me. Like, they'll come for me."
Yeah, right.
This guy didn't have anything on him before, but I'm still not convinced. He looks like he does.
You might have had an elaborate plan to smuggle explosives in.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
ruin Elton for everyone before the cock come out, which is just would be a tragedy. But yeah, they're talking amongst themselves, and they're just like, "Got a situation here. We got some ants, and there were some green ants on the grass because it's all just grassed area. So these people were refusing to take their seats because they didn't want to get bitten by green ants, which they still might have thought I might have had a role in somehow. Like it's, yeah,
So they'd nested
Insect
exactly
warfare.
where the good seats were.
yeah. They weren't the greatest. Of
What
seats,
happened to
but
the granite? How did they
it never
eradicate
seemed to
them?
get resolved. They just sort of sucked it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then
They could have got some metho or something that's poured it on the grass or something.
yeah,
Just-
I don't. The ants were just they go to sleep after a while.
Yeah.
Once the sun goes down, they seem to sort of.
Did they perk up a bit for the show?
The ants?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. You couldn't really hear them over the.
They were trying to see
crowd.
the gig, I imagine.
Well, it's a free show.
They were all on each
Yeah.
other's shoulders. There was a stack of ants.
I saw one
Trying to
walking
get up.
past, and it actually had like a little stamp on its hand.
Oh,
So it was
some of
clear.
them had
And
the beverage package, some of
Yeah.
them had the VIP.
yeah,
So
it paid full price.
It's hard to scan ants too. They're so tiny. You need a little tiny
Yeah.
metal detecting
Well,
paddle.
because like an ant is
You can't
only this
trust 'em.
big, but then how big is the ID going to be? You know, like they pull that out.
They
It's
all
just
look the
like,
fucking same, really. Like,
Yeah,
is that?
Oh,
That's not you.
Jeez,
That's
racist.
Gary.
Yeah,
It says it's Gary. Could be Bill.
you're the guy I kicked out earlier. How'd you get back in? You must have like a tunnel or
He
something.
he
that you-
burrowed.
Yeah, I'm back in. And then an engagement happened, a proposal. So,
Ah,
we were on and towards the end of the aisle, and the aisle next to us, right on the very end of the other aisle, there's this commotion and these old drunk women behind us, like just making a big scene, and it's because this guy proposed to his girlfriend, and as he's on his knee, like she's pulled her phone out to try and like capture the moment before she
trying
said
to video
yes.
it. Yeah,
And then
he's getting bitten by ants.
yeah, he's just like, "Oh, my knees are on fire down here." And then, she said yes, and then the old gals ran over there and started giving him advice on how to have sex. And
There was a
saying
group of old women or
yeah, they were very loud, very, very annoying. But then she said something to him like, "Don't put the balls inside. Don't put the balls inside if you're going when you're going to do the sex." And then
That's
this-
unusual advice for someone to give. Like,
Well,
it sounds like
she's
she's
lived
talking
a
from
life.
experience.
Yeah. Take it from me, love. Yeah,
You don't want the testes in
it
there.
doesn't add anything.
Is that a
to
move
the
that people do? But
balls deep? Well,
Back in the 60s, probably.
it?
Yeah, when she was still shagging.
balls deep
Really?
usually means down to the balls, not inclusive
Yeah.
of the balls.
oh,
but
yeah.
yeah. And then this old guy just saw what was going on and walked over and decided to announce to the guy during this moment of celebration that he's wearing the same shirt. We're wearing the same shirt. hey. And he's like, yeah, good, anyway. And then it sort of died down a bit and they sat there for a little while and they got up to leave. And I thought maybe they were leaving because it was just too much and all the stuff going on.
They
And
had enough of the old shaggers.
yeah, ruining the moment. And then one of the old gals is like, "Where are you off to?" And the now fiance said, "We're going for a quickie." So, yeah, just sort of
Into the
lost.
Portaloos.
Yeah,
At
well,
that
there were
moment,
plenty
they were
of
all on
them.
the same level.
yeah. Just looking into a mirror.
Don't put the balls in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he didn't. But I didn't get an update. But it was weird because he proposed during the support act,
Right.
not during Elton.
Who was the support act, by the way?
Some young guy who was playing piano.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
he was good, but
He
Yeah.
kept talking. I don't know if he did this. We went on separate nights. You went on the Sunday. I went on
Yeah.
the Saturday. He kept talking about being in Nashville and being in America recording and
Okay.
stuff. He told this story about. Yeah. So anyway, I was over in Nashville recording and putting together an album, and then I was in New York and I wrote this song about that. Why?
Profound.
What's the Nashville thing got to do with it? Like, you could just tell everyone, "Hey, I just want you to know that I went to Nashville."
That's good for credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recorded
Well,
in Nashville,
you're
yeah.
not anyone if you didn't record it in Nashville.
Yeah, nice. And you enjoyed the gig, Mitch, because you're a
Oh,
big
loved
Elton
it.
fan from
yeah,
way back.
absolutely loved it. Yeah, went along with my mum. My mum bought a ticket for Christmas, so I went along there, and
She went 2 nights.
yeah, she did. Yeah.
Wow.
2
Yeah.
cocks. She saw it twice.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah, it was my mother.
Of course she knew.
Yeah.
But I took a little hip flask in there, which I probably shouldn't have.
Did you? That's not like you.
And they
Oh.
didn't scan you for the... They
Didn't
didn't,
get
No,
metal
I
detected.
Didn't
shoved
get-
it down the strides,
Yep.
Yeah,
and
not going to look down there.
they're probably like, "What's this bloke dancing like a crazy for? He's only drinking lemonade, but it was 3/4 full of vodka." But
This loves his Elton.
Did
But
you find
no.
it funny that... Because I got seated tickets and I thought I was doing pretty well to get seated tickets, but it was like 90% seated tickets.
yeah,
The general admission area was just like
Oh,
a
really?
strip of like a footpath at the back.
Yeah,
So-
right. Okay.
Mm,
That's a lot of seats to lay out.
yeah.
Well, lots gone into it. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
Elton. Only the best for Elton. Good
Did-
show, though. Great show.
Great show. I've heard. I wasn't there.
No, but you saw the cock.
you'll
I
see him.
s-
You'll
I
see
saw
him
the
again.
photos, and I did see him last time he toured, and he was wonderful.
Yeah.
There was no penis that time, unfortunately. So
It was, but you just didn't see it.
It was there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think it's detachable. Well, he's got money. I'm sure he could afford to have something rigged up. But yeah, Elton. Well, that's his last tour. Hopefully, he might come over for a one-off show, perhaps, but not going to tour anymore. That's for
I
sure.
hope
Maybe a
not.
charity thing you might do, something like
Yeah,
that.
at least he does the Farnham thing, and it was just a way to wring a bit of money out of everybody. But yeah, but it is Australia Day, and here we are having a beer. I guess as the custom. How do we feel about Australia Day these days? It's become a little bit of a hot topic, really, hasn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel a bit funny about it now. I've got to say, I'm very now. The whole campaign, the anti-Australia Day campaign, has made me very cognizant of what the day really represents for everybody. So I feel like I'm thinking about it quite a bit. You know, I don't want to get too too patriotic because it's really a day of mourning for some parts of our community? What do you guys think?
You're a very patriotic guy too, which says a lot that you don't want to be.
Yeah. I've got
Yeah.
many Southern Cross tattoos,
Yeah.
3 or 4 different places on my body.
I feel like I love the day but it's the positive things I think about of the day, like and how much Australia's sort of grown, and I don't know.
You don't want the date changed?
No, I don't want the date changed, but I think maybe there should be a time through the day that we sort of commemorate the massacre that happened with the Aboriginals and that sort of stuff, and
Acknowledge it so much.
acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And but I think it should be considered all the positive parts of Australia as well. We celebrate it, the freedom that we have, and just the beautiful country and the people and the inventions that we've made, and the bloody the sporting achievements and everything positive about the day. I don't why there's got to be a negative spin on it all the time, but so I think we should do that. But maybe at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we sort of everyone stands still or something and says something about the Aboriginals and that. But yeah, is that all right to say that?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it is one way to approach it for sure, to have even a morning service or a dawn service or something like that. Because it's hard to know whether people would actually stop at 3 o'clock when they're half shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'd be too pissed by that point.
I'd love to be at one of those parties where whoever's leading the, it's like, am I going to stop because we're going to,
Yeah.
There's some people I would not want to hear give a
Acknowledge the custodians.
heartfelt, yeah.
Well, maybe it is meant to be of a morning,
Yeah, I've heard that said. You have the up till midday can be a commiseration and a bit of a
Yep.
yeah.
Just an acknowledgement
Then
to
after
the
12
Aboriginal
you can get
people.
fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then but I think it should just stay a positive thing, and just I don't know. It's just such a great country, and I don't think it's happened so much this year. People have said a lot about Australia Day because of the climate change and all the fires that are going on. So I think everyone's sort of left alone. Like
Yeah.
We're all at some other rally this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
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 Did you see that government ad, by the way, anybody? Did you see, there was an ad on TV about Australia Day? I assume it's a government-funded thing. Have you seen
Not
that at
the
all?
Sam Kekovich lamb.
No, not the lamb one. There's been one that's popped up and everyone's like, it's all different people from different walks of life all talking about, and there's Indigenous
I've seen
people in
yeah.
it as well.
That's good. That's a good one.
And the government's obviously funded. They're trying to get everyone to kind of embrace the day. I don't know whether it's the best way to be spending money at the moment, but
Yeah, right.
nevertheless, yeah.
Yeah, I did
Jeez.
see that. I thought it was a good ad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Obviously, they did move the Hottest 100, which was always on Australia Day. It's now, it was yesterday.
Not much of a move, is it? They haven't moved
Not
it too
really.
far. It's still kind of attached to Australia Day. They just do it.
Oh, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was
That's why when
yesterday.
everyone's going on about the results, that's what you boys before. I said, you guys don't know what's going to happen, but you know what happened.
Yeah, we're a
We
day.
do.
We're a
Why
day
did they
ahead.
change that?
Well, they changed it because of the reasons we're talking about. There was a lot of backlash about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't. I thought the way they handled it was pretty poor, Triple J, because they are very pro-Indigenous rights, and so they should be. But they also wouldn't. They kept playing Hottest 100 on Australia Day, and then people complained, and they said, "Oh, well, we'll just put it to a vote, and you guys can decide."
Yes.
Which was the same strategy that the government used to decide
Yeah.
the marriage equality
Yes.
thing,
The plebiscite.
which they got a lot
yeah.
of heat for, because you wouldn't make a decision. So, well, you can decide what you want to do, and then they voted in favour of not playing it. So they just moved it as close as they can without being on that day.
Mm.
Did they actually vote in favour of not having it on Australia Day? I thought it was quite a...
No, they said
It was
they
still-
wanted it on not on Australia Day.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's something then.
Yeah, but it seemed like a bit of a
Yeah.
spineless kind of thing to do.
It's tricky. They're trying to keep everyone happy, really.
Yeah,
A little bit of leadership wouldn't have gone astray, but they have moved it.
Richard
And
Kingsmill, just stand up, son.
But it was a bit of a surprise result because I think a lot of people thought the Aussie Tones and I was going to take it out, but it did go to Billie Eilish.
Oh, I thought it was Billy Idol. I thought it was Billy Idol at one, and I was happy because I'm a big fan of Billy Idol, and I thought he had a bit of a rough trot after the grand final in 2002 when the power got cut,
Yes.
and I didn't think he'd come back from that. But I thought he'd won yesterday, and I was happy for him. But
Well, yeah. Well, his new
So
output
who's-
doesn't really get much recognition, does
who's
it?
Billie Eilish?
She's an American girl. I think she's 18 years old and has Tourette's syndrome. And she has this sort of, I think it's known as, I don't know if it's mumble rap, but she sort of mumbles. That's her sort of approach. We wouldn't really call her a singer. She's kind of, it's like a spoken word. It's sort of like poetry put to beautiful music. So
You don't say.
yeah,
Sounds like you're talking about Billy Idol. Are you sure it wasn't Billy Idol?
Billy Idol mumbles a bit these days, but back in the day he had a bit of a great punk rock drawl.
Is his hair still bleach blonde?
I think it's permanent
It's
now.
just-
Yeah. 50 years of bleaching. It's just...
It's like
It could even be fake.
when you have like a fright where it turns your hair like that was it. Like it's just something happened and he's never bleached it once, not once.
No. He's lucky to still have hair, I imagine. Maybe it's fake.
Yeah. Well, hopefully things turn around for him soon.
But Tones and I was, I think, a little bit of a controversial one. I mean, she's very popular, and obviously Dance Monkey was really the song of 2019. But I'm a little bit reticent about her whole approach to music, really, because it's a little bit on the nose. I mean, a lot of people don't really talk about this, but she very much, the way she sings, she impersonates sort of a stereotypical Asian person. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I thought that it was an Asian woman, and I was all for it because I'm all about equality. But then I found out it wasn't. It was some white girl
Yeah,
just impersonating an Asian
person.
prostitute or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really had much to do with them, but
Yep.
yeah, very surprising, and it does definitely feel like a bit of cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
If she talked like that when she speaks, I would be okay with it, but she doesn't. So
No, she's very well spoken.
yeah, she's got something going
Very
on.
educated, yeah. And then when she sort of sings, it sounds like a very affected sort of... It sounds like knowing that she is white, it does sound like a white person impersonating an Asian. And
Yeah.
she shouldn't be doing that.
it's a bit on the nose, yeah.
Well, who's that guy? The We Can Be Heroes and what's that guy's name?
David Bowie.
Chris Lilly.
Oh, Chris Lilly,
Yeah,
yes.
but I can see where you're going with that.
Bowie.
Well, he impersonated an Asian person, among other things, and got a lot of backlash.
And a
yet
black
she's
person.
doing it, and they're celebrating it. But that's just Triple J.
To me, it's tantamount to blackface, really.
Yeah,
It's just as bad
yeah.
as blackface.
It's yellow voice.
Oh yeah, like on the red faces. When they,
Shouldn't have said that.
what's that, Joe?
But no, well, yes, that's one way of putting it, yeah. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's not appropriate.
Well, we'll make a cause. We'll get something going, and we'll see if we can get some answers.
And even the theme of the song, to make a monkey dance. I mean, that happens a lot in, a lot of tourist places in Asia as well.
Yeah,
they make monkeys
definitely.
do things they don't want to do. And I feel like she's sort of glorifying the act of putting a monkey on a chain and
Yeah,
making it perform.
yeah, for treats or something, or just for its life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she seems nice. I don't have a problem. I was hoping she'd win because I thought that the backlash would be very enjoyable,
Yeah, yeah.
and it didn't. So,
Well, as it turned out, I think Billie Eilish was the first solo female artist to ever win the Hottest 100. Which
Yeah, okay.
sort
Would
of-
have been interesting to see the ratings for the day as well, how they did.
I think they probably did pretty good.
But you're just saying that, Nick.
I'm only guessing.
Yeah.
It seems to increase every year, the votes for the Hottest 100. But, Tones and I would have been also a solo female artist, so it worked out for feminism, but
Yeah.
really did fly in the face of people that are trying to kind of,
Didn't do much for minorities or animal rights.
Not at all, no. So disappointing that Triple J would sort of, support or vouch for that kind of behaviour. But
They've just tackled the Indigenous rights, so they'll have to work on the rest of it.
now they work through it,
Yeah.
the sort of accepting of Asian minorities here in Australia. So hopefully Triple J do sort of work on that for next year. We should take a brief moment to acknowledge one of our sponsors, because we do occasionally have people that want us to give them a shout out. We give the business a shout out. We don't make a lot of money off it, but we do it to support independent businesses. And Mitch has a word from one of our sponsors.
Yeah, today the sponsor is Basil's Butchery. Basil captures the animal, he talks to the animal, he holds the animal, he talks about the animal's emotions, and he makes love to the animal and he slaughters the animal. So that's the process that Basil does at his butchery. Very tender meat, beautiful meat. So come and see Basil for the best meat in town.
Beautiful. He's a local guy, is he? He can get-
Yeah. Basil just lives up on Walnut Crescent, I think it's called.
Walnut Crescent. It's a farm that's on a crescent. It's a crescent. It's a cul-de-sac.
No, it's just he lives up Walnut Crescent there, so he's a local.
Which
around town.
suburb is that? Is it Walnut Crescent? Is it
Oh no, it's just
Belmont
around,
Way? Huh.
just around the corner from Cashew Close.
Yeah, it's real nut sort of like farming community up there.
I don't know. I've
So-
just started naming nuts.
When he
A lot of nutters out there.
when he captures the meat, does he have his own farm, or is he like getting it from other farms where he's just breaking in the middle of the night, jumping the fence and
Yeah, he susses out the.
He's
a
the
rustler.
beast.
He's
He's a rustler.
yeah.
He captures them. He saves them from some factory farming.
Yeah, it's
Gets to
usually
know
about a
them.
3-week process from when
Yeah.
he captures them before he goes through the whole process when he slaughters the beast.
Court to order? Can you put in a request for him to capture something and he'll catch it for you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, just email him at basilsbutchery.com and he's got a Facebook page as well.
Okay, we'll have to check that out.
So yeah.
I like that there's no middleman. He does it all himself.
He's fair at the middle.
It's fairly intensive by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
To the point of making love to them just before they shuffle off this mortal coil.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take what we can get. We did just slag off Tones and I for her treatment of animals, but she's not paying us, so if she wants to throw some money our way, we'll throw up there. We'll do an ad for her.
Well, he's not making the cows dance. He's not humiliating them, is he? He's getting to know them.
No, he's got
connecting with them.
That's his life.
And then
yeah.
Just a true blue Aussie on this Australia Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a patriot.
Those people.
Good luck to him. Thank you for supporting the show, Basil, and we hope people start flocking to your butchery.
What did we say before? Basil's not much chop, but Basil is much chop.
Yeah.
You can't say Basil is much chop, can you?
Yeah, you could say Basil is much chop. That'd be a great tagline. Basil's much
Why can
chop.
you always say not much chop?
He's the
You
full
can't
chop.
say he is.
Well, that's a negative thing. Something's not much chop, but he could say he is much chop.
But that doesn't make sense, does it?
They have to.
Well, it has to. If something's not much chop, then something must
to
be
be
much.
chop.
Yeah, it has to
All right.
be.
Basil, you are chop.
Beautiful. Thank you, Basil. One of the great butchers, one of the great herbs. Now, of course, the Australian Open is going on at the moment as well. We've still got a few Aussies left in the running.
I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, I've only seen a little bit. I nearly saw the Millman, I think his name is.
Yeah, Millman.
What's his first name? Is it John?
John, yeah.
John Millman. It's a great author's name. He should be writing, not playing tennis, but
Maybe at the change of ends you can get into that.
write a few poems. But he nearly knocked off Federer
Yeah.
in a thriller, five-set thriller.
Yeah.
In the tie break, and I thought he had him. He was up 8-5, I think, at one point. That's all I've seen of the whole tournament so far.
Yeah.
I usually just read about Nick Kyrgios when he loses.
Yep.
That's how I know what's going on. Is he's obviously still going.
He won
because-
last night.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, but he came back from a match point. He had a match point in the fourth set, and he actually lost it. And the other guy won the fourth set. Usually Kyrgios would just crack it from there and he'd lose it, but he actually got himself back together. And good on him. He came back and he won the fifth set. So you get versus Nadal, and they've got a bit of a rivalry going.
Yeah.
Because Kyrgios actually mimicked Nadal last round.
Because Kyrgios is a fuckwit.
Yeah.
He's hard to like, isn't he?
Kyrgios
Yeah, I'm
is
coming around a bit.
donating his money to the Fires, isn't he?
Like a lot of ace, $100 for every ace, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was more than, wasn't it a few grand for every ace?
Was it?
I think so.
But he might hit 20 in one game. Hey, one match.
Yeah, okay, true. Yeah, because I thought it was 2,800 he was donating, but maybe that's the tally as of, Should have researched that, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought it was to do with aces.
It is aces,
I
definitely.
think it is, yeah.
Okay.
And John McEnroe's given 10 grand, I think, for every match that Kyrgios wins.
Really? Okay, that's a bit of incentive.
So if he won the whole tournament, 7 matches, it'd be 70 grand.
Wow.
Would it be financially better for the Fires if he just gave 10 grand and Kyrgios lost the first round, rather than Kyrgios have to rack that up through aces? Maybe like, so if Kyrgios goes right to the end and wins, but doesn't hit as many enough aces to rack up 10 grand, like, I don't know. No, that doesn't make sense because he'd be winning.
And he'd be
Never
doing
mind.
that as well. He'd be
This is
getting,
why I need to write things down.
yeah.
Has he done it as an incentive for Kyrgios? Do you think he said to Kyrgios,
I
you
think
win,
so.
I'll give you 10 grand? He's trying to
He's
encourage
offered to coach Kyrgios and that, but he's just
Okay.
Kyrgios is
On his tennis or
not
on
taking.
his...
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, but
I don't know whether McEnroe's quite the right fit for Kyrgios. He was very much the bad boy of tennis
He was,
back in his day. Might not be the best influence on Kyrgios. What does he tell him? If you don't get your way, attack the umpire.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or swipe all the trophies off the. They had all these trophies set up on a table once
Yeah.
for the final, and McEnroe just went and just whacked them straight off and cracked them. Off
Doesn't
the,
care for accolades.
Nah. So anyway,
You must be joking.
you cannot be serious.
You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. Yeah, McEnroe. All right. So whenever I think of tennis, every year, whenever one of the big tournaments is on, whether it's Wimbledon, Australian Open, there's always a story that I think of, and that is the time that, this is going back many years, the time that Mitch Power got to play tennis in real life against one of the greats, one of the great hotties, perhaps, Anna Kournikova. So Mitch is a gun tennis player.
No,
Well, you certainly were.
yeah,
Probably
decent.
don't have her hit much these days, but
No. I frequent a lot of buffets, but anyway.
Hit the beers more than tennis balls
Yeah.
these days. But you were certainly a very good player, and you sort of competed at a certain level, I guess you would say. And going back, we're trying to work out how old you were, but you're probably 12, perhaps.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. I think about it. Yeah, that's probably that right age. Yeah.
So we'll have to tell the story, I guess, from the beginning. But you entered a competition, which was, I imagine, there was a lot of entries.
Yeah.
I think it was 10 boys, 10 girls were selected to have a day where they got to have a hit against the great Anna Kournikova, and you were picked. You had to send a letter into a newspaper, is
Yeah,
that right?
the Sydney Morning Herald. I was actually staying down in the Blue Mountains with my grandparents, and I got it in. I had to write 50 words or less why you wanted to play with Anna Kournikova. So I
need 100 words, I think.
Do you remember how many words you used?
I don't know. I think I might have counted up maybe early 40s, something like that. But I wrote it all myself. Like at that age, I didn't ask my mum and dad to do it, and they wanted to do it. But I said, if I just write it, and they'd know it came from a kid then. So I just said I've always loved tennis, and I've always been a pretty good player. But now I realise that I won't be able to do anything more with my tennis in terms of professional or getting money out of it. So I'd like to do the next best thing, and that's to play with a professional. That's what I wrote.
Wow, okay.
And yeah, I got a call one day. I was going to say a mobile, but did we have mobiles back then?
I don't think we did, no.
But
It was like probably
called
a
the
can
landline.
attached to a piece of string.
yeah, or send fucking Homan pigeon, isn't it? But yeah, so yeah, they ring up, said I've won the prize and that. So I went down to play with Anna Kournikova, and there was actually a weird story that day. It was a great day. They fitted me at Adidas and that, but
It was an Adidas competition.
Adidas, because it's Adidas International back then. I think now it's the Sydney International.
Yep.
But I was actually playing. There was a game out the back that you had to try and hit a forehand as hard as you can, and they had all the like you couldn't see over it. There was a full crowd of people outside, but it was like you're in this little tent. You had to hit a forehand hard, but everyone's been hitting with this racket, and I've gone to hit this forehand as hard as I could. The racket's gone flying over the top, and it's hit this old duck fair in the fair between the eyes. And I've just gone outside, and everyone's sort of hovering over this old lady, and I just scurried out the back. So.
You probably told me that story. I forgot that.
The grip was too slippery anyway.
Did Anna Kournikova see that?
No, I don't think so.
You were getting all sweaty from the anticipation of playing against Anna Kournikova.
Kournikova was out in the dressing room with on Glacius. In Glacius?
Even
I
back
think she was
then?
with, wasn't she with the Scud for a bit or something like that?
No,
maybe
yeah,
for
no.
a
Who was
night.
she with? The guy that sung.
Well, she's married to Enrique Iglesias.
Oh, she's still with him?
Yeah, they're still together.
Gee.
I think they got married in 2001. So they've been together a fair while. It's one of the great sort of love stories of modern pop and sport.
And Agassi's still with Steffi Graf.
There
That's
you go.
one that I never thought really.
Wouldn't last.
No.
No.
But,
He was with Brooke Shields at one point,
yeah, Brooke Shields.
and then he went with the Graf.
Yeah, I think actually the three of them actually caught up a couple of times, but not sure.
Down by the old Blue Lagoon.
What's that? What are we doing?
It's a movie that
Sorry.
Andre Agassi was in
Set
as
the
a young
bars.
man.
Yeah, very young boy. Very supple young boy.
So when you lost the racket, were you inside a tent? Was there a roof, or was it just against a screen?
No, it's just like a.
Okay,
It was just like a big screen. It was like a little
and it's recording the impact.
Yeah,
how fast it was. Yeah.
yeah.
Did it record her face when it hit her face? Could they measure that?
No, well, I didn't know, but
The
I just
velocity?
remember her being on the. I could see her legs just coming out the bottom, but she was on the ground, and I saw all the people hovering over her. Still don't know how she is to this day.
Maybe she didn't make it. Was-
Probably dead now.
Don't say- Game set match. Yeah.
She never recovered from that. Yeah, some say that was what. Yeah.
So now it is the evidence. Coppers, come and get me if you want.
Now she can't see a tennis ball without breaking down, or a racket, I should say, without breaking down. I've got a little news story here. Where did this run? Is this from like the Maitland Mercury? Do you reckon this? Story?
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, because Todd Woods would have done the article.
Of
yeah.
course, yeah. So I'll just read this very quickly. This is on public record. The headline is Adidas Anna Kournikova Coaching Clinic. Promising Maitland Tennis Centre junior Mitchell Power enjoyed the experience of a lifetime when selected to be coached by Anna Kournikova during last week's Adidas International Tennis Tournament held in Sydney. Mitchell's opportunity arose through entering in the Grace Brothers Adidas Win a Chance to Learn from Anna Kournikova competition. The Adidas Grace Brothers Tennis Clinic was open to any 12 to 18-year-olds. There you go. So he must have been at least 12. To enter the competition, each entrant had to, in 50 words or less, tell why they wanted to attend a clinic with top New South Wales tennis coaches and Adidas star Anna Kournikova. One of thousands of entries received, 10 girls and 10 boys from throughout the state were chosen from the entries. There you go. So what was she like to play against?
Yeah, lovely. And I think you only got like 2 rallies with her.
Oh,
like
really?
two balls, so you couldn't really just hit.
You only had 2
hit
balls
one
to
into
work
it.
with.
I think so.
Okay.
How was your grip after the incident with the grandma? You're holding on tight to that? Was that playing in the back of your mind?
Yeah, I was thinking I haven't had a good start to the day. You know, I'm lucky to
Makes
still be on the premises at this
You don't
point.
want to kill Anna Kournikova.
Yeah.
You've already killed an older woman.
Because then that would have been another story in the paper for sure if you
Yeah.
managed to hit her in the face with a racket. Ruined her career.
Not the face. I mean, that was her career. I mean, talking a bit cruel, but
And the rest of it.
she did reach world number 1 in doubles.
Yeah.
She used to play with Hingis.
Yeah.
And did, I think it was in 1999 she reached number 1, but never in singles. But so she was nice. We've got a photo of you with her, which we'll put up on the screen.
Yeah.
It's a great photo. So she was a good person.
Really good person. Yeah, I didn't actually hit puberty at that point, so I was sort of I didn't sort of see her as the sex symbol as everyone else. I just saw her as a professional player.
Sure.
But
How do you reckon she felt about meeting a young Maitland boy?
I don't know.
What
I
did you
don't
know
think
of
she'd give a
Maitland?
shit, really. I just don't think she would have... well, put it this way, when she put her head down on the pillow that night, I don't think she was still thinking about me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I mean, you're a very sweet young man. Maybe you affected her in some way. She went, "This is why I'm doing this. It's never to be number 1. It's just to meet the kids."
Maybe she picked up on the fact that you hadn't hit puberty and just didn't show the same interest that the other kids did. She might be like, that guy,
Yeah.
the kid was nice. He had a good backhand. And
I mean, he's a
didn't
granny killer, but he's all right.
yeah.
He didn't appear to have a stiffy on the court, which was nice. Nice change.
Unlike those doubles matches, those mixed doubles she played in. It's par for the course.
See, the thing is, though, we're very similar in age, but I remember when you won that being incredibly jealous. And I'm sure my jealousy more stemmed from the fact that you got to meet Anna Kournikova because she was attractive, not a professional tennis player. So
Yeah.
maybe we were in puberty. I don't know. Maybe you were 13.
But I would have much rather that be sort of Pete Sampras or
Sure.
someone that actually looked up like.
Yes.
I'd much rather it be like
Not some second-rate sort of glamour.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was just there for tennis, you know. And
Sure.
So I was there. I still loved it, but I was just saying that I would have loved to be a world number 1 ex-player or
Yeah.
even Pat Rafter or something like that, you know.
Who's your favourite all-time tennis player?
Oh, Sampras, I think.
Sampras, the
I just love
eyebrows?
Sampras. Like, I like Pat Rafter, any serve volleyer. But all the serve volleys have gone out of the game now, but probably Sampras. I loved him. Loved his serve. Yeah, what did they call him again? Pistol Pete.
Pistol
Yeah.
Pete, that's it.
What about out of the current crop of players?
Current crop. I like Dimitrov or Tsitsipas. Love the one-handed backhand. Or Roger. Always loved Roger, but I've loved Roger for so long. The love's sort of.
Like an
You
old
can't keep loving him.
relationship.
For,
Yeah.
you know, it's like being with someone for 20 years. You can't.
yeah, yeah.
Like
The
you just end up being roommates after a while, you know. So
Yeah.
that's what me and Roger are like.
ships
now,
in
but-
the night, you and old
But
Roger.
yeah, Tsitsipas or Dimitrov or not Medvedev. Anyway, a couple of those guys. But yeah,
They're all
but
men.
it's a big transition now in tennis. I think there's
Yeah.
Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic are nearly on their way out, and then they're going to get these new guys like Medvedev, Tsitsipas, and Dimitrov. And anyway,
Who's the great...
Rublev.
Rublev?
They're
Is
all
a good
Russians, are
Russian.
they?
Yeah,
they all
Russian,
sound like
yeah.
they're all
Yeah, just like
commies. Yeah.
Who's the great Aussie hope, do you reckon? Who's the future of Australian tennis? Is it Ash Barty?
Dimonor is going to be good, I reckon. Dimonor's just got to beef up a bit, get a bit more size on him.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyrgios, or who knows what could happen with him. He could be world number 1, but I don't think he will be. Because in
Yeah.
his head, he just hasn't... basketball's his favourite sport, I think. So it's sort of...
Yeah.
He's not sort of...
He's a strange... he's a
and
strange
Barty,
case.
well, Barty's world number 1, so...
Yep.
But she's got to sort of... All these people always struggle at the Aussie Open, but these Aussies, so it'd be good to see just Barty just get through to... Even the semi would be good to see, get the semi at least.
To get a semi, see someone get a semi over it.
Yep.
Oh.
I think just on the subject of Ash Barty, I've heard people throwing around
Oi.
Ash Barty as... No, I'm not going to go where you think I'm going to go. People throwing around Ash Barty as a new rhyming slang for party.
Yeah.
So we're going to go have an Ash Barty or
Oh, yeah.
throw an Ash Barty, which will get, of course, pruned down to go for an Ash.
That's great, though.
Throw an Ash, throw
Yeah.
a Barty.
In the spirit of Australia Day and everything, I mean, if you're going to get rhyming slang named after you to be something positive,
Yeah.
as opposed to like a Barry Crocker,
Yeah.
which
Or a Catherine Britt.
a Catherine Britt, I can imagine what that means. But
Yep.
yeah, it's
We've done a ScoMo. When times are tough, you just duck off.
Well, that's the other thing that's coming into common parlance is when you duck off at an important moment. It's a ScoMo. Going for a ScoMo. which is good. I
it's
like
funny.
that. I like
Oh,
that.
I
It's
sort of-
great because
When you disappear in a moment of crisis, you've done
Yeah.
chucked a ScoMo.
It's great that it's come full circle on him because his team have created this ScoMo persona where they're trying to like make him appealing and have this kind of like
an everyman.
And now that ScoMo will be remembered as being a fuckwit, like when you associate it with being a
Yeah.
That's good.
She's
Good
a
to
lovely
see.
young girl, that Ash Barty.
Oh, seems very lovely.
And you were saying, Nick, before you found her like that attractive. You were saying?
You guys trying to stitch me up here.
No, I'm just saying before you thought she was a sweet girl and that.
I don't find her wildly attractive, but I like her tennis prowess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go there. We talked about something in regards to her that we're not going to talk about. I think it's treacherous.
The funny thing with Ash Barty, and you see a lot of people like this, that there's a lot of people out there that look exactly the same as an adult as they did when they were a kid.
Yeah.
And like her face when she was like 6 looks exactly like it does now.
Yep.
Well, they can't get a beard, can they, these women? Not most of them can't.
The Russians can.
Yeah, the Indians get a good beard.
Can they? Okay, all right.
I was
you say
talking
that?
about steroids, but you're talking about something else. But it's out there now, so we'll just deal with it when it
I don't
comes
know
up.
but statistically whether Indian women have facial hair or not. I'd have to Google that. But
All right. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
No, it's fine.
But that's not bad. That's just an observation.
oh,
yeah.
sure, if it's got some basis in science, then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but cut that bit out.
All right, yeah, we'll cut that out, Mitch. But yeah, well, I guess lastly, we should probably just wish best of luck to all the Australians still in the Australian Open. It's good to see someone local win the local competition, the most prestigious of local tennis competitions.
And what's your favourite part of Australia, Joe and Nick?
Oh, probably the health system. That's where I'm at the moment with my recent surgery. Didn't pay a cent. Didn't pay a red cent for in America would have been a $60,000 surgery.
But you also had private health insurance.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's true.
From stepping on the little man, as you do with your portfolio.
Thanks to Basil's Butchery, I suppose, too.
Yeah.
Funds coming in from that. You couldn't have really afforded that.
Yeah, that paid for his whole...
Well, that
and some elective surgery too that he got done as well.
Well, I did finally get that reduction, so I can walk. I can walk
fake
properly.
hair.
Basil could have done it for you, really, couldn't he?
He could have done something.
If he went through the whole process.
Yeah, he's a butcher, but not when it comes to surgery.
If I was having reverse sex change, then he'd come in handy. Get a big sticker, Cabanossi. No, but definitely, yeah. Thank you to Basil. All that meat money is definitely fleshing out my shares portfolio at the moment. So
Money's in meat.
Terrible pun.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it. And I can't remember what you said, so...
Fleshing out.
Fleshing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going the whole hog.
Yeah, there you go.
What I love about Australia, I love the landscape. I love the beaches, I love the country, I love the rivers and the lakes and stuff. I just think it's a beautiful country in that sense. Not now, because
hectares of ash.
It's all black, but the parts that aren't burnt look magnificent. The ones that have got good rainfall at the moment.
Yes, yeah. You can't burn the beaches, can you?
Oh,
really?
the beaches
They'll
are
be
amazing.
fine.
Yeah, well, that's where everyone went when they had to get evacuated. They went to the beach not because it was safer, just because it's just nice.
Yeah,
Just distract yourself. Go to the beach. Forget about it.
yeah. Just go for a swim.
Yeah, just go for a
We'll
swim.
pick you up
Can't hurt
later.
you in the water.
Like you said in that motivational minute a few podcasts ago, where you were, no one's ever regretted a swim.
No.
It's just in the same vein as that. So
Absolutely.
Unless the sea lice and that what we're talking about.
yeah, but they're not everywhere.
Or the sharks or whatever. But yeah, that's unlikely.
Your house is burning down, but go for a swim. You'll feel better.
Yeah.
Go for a
Watch
paddle.
out for sharks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that brings to a close our Australia Day special, I suppose. It is Australia Day that we're recording this. Thank you for tuning in once again to Dictating Terms. I've been Nick Milligan. To my left, your right, has been Joe Duffy. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your Kournikova story with us, Mitch.
No problem. It was good to get it out there, relive the old memories.
Beautiful.
Hopefully it gets back to her, and she can reminisce as well. And the old lady that may not be still with us, if she...
With a fractured eye.
Now's your chance to apologise.
With a fractured eye socket. We could do a shout out if anyone sees this that knows the lady in question. Did you have a elderly relative that died at a tennis competition or was badly injured?
I might not be on the next podcast. I might be incarcerated.
We'll find someone to replace him.
And a big shout out, someone always, I just like to give a big shout out to North Queensland viewer Jimmy up there. So thanks, Jim, for listening. And there's a lot of people that want shout outs, and I suppose we can't go through all of them. But
No, maybe one per podcast, maybe.
You got any Nick that you?
Not really.
Not that I can think of.
Jesus. He's always with me.
Yeah. Doesn't listen though. Podcast. But yeah.
No, he's always
God is watching us from
it's
a
hard
distance.
to it's hard to nail him down. Yeah, he is. Yeah, God's always watching us from a distance. Yeah,
Isn't that song?
That was Bette Midler. Yeah, beautiful song.
We're rambling here.
On that note, we'll go out on Midler. You've been watching Dictating Terms.